everybody. Welcome to another episode of Hairyman, Hoaxes, and Hoodwinks. I'm so glad to see you here in the chat. It's just already going. Hopefully everybody can join today because we got a great show ahead, a great show with a great guest. And I'm so excited to start and get things going. And let me look at the chat real quick, though. Woohoo! Look at that. Uncle Bones, Forensics Mystics. Hello, everybody. So good to see you. Val, Grasshopper. Woohoo, Angel, Jen. Hey, Jen. Uncle Bones was here first. I think Uncle Bones was here first. So glad to see everybody here. If I missed you, you know I love you. I'm glad you're here with us again. So today I got a great show for you. So let's get started. Just waiting for my guest to get here. I think he's here. I think he's here. So let's bring in our guest that he doesn't break down my door or something.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the chat. Yes, you are in emergency mode.
Emergency guest on the scene.
So happy you could be here, everybody.
I know, but I'm very excited to be here. I heard you said there's going to be a really great guest. I can't wait to hear who it is.
Yeah, that's you. You're the great guest. That's you. Yeah.
He's not that great.
We'll
thank you very much for having me on, though. It's an honor, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you for coming here. Everybody, just so you know, Enzo has agreed to come in and help me with a couple of shows here while I'm looking for a new co-host. If you feel that you would like to be, the check is in the mail, Enzo. So anybody, if you feel like you and I can get along and do shows, you know, shoot me an email at hairymanhoaxes@gmail.com and we'll talk about it and see. Looking for a new host. I don't want to be alone over here, but Enzo's going to step in for a little while and help me out with this new series that I've got called Paranormal Potpourri. Yes. I thought it was going to be one show, but it's going to be 4 shows.
Woo!
Yay. It's just so much stuff. It was the more and more I worked on it, I'm like, there's no way I can fit everything into one show because, as you know, the paranormal is a big word and it encompasses a lot of different areas. So, you know, I happen to be in that cryptid section, which most of us here are. But then there's this UFO section over here that's been calling my name lately, and I've been wanting to do a little show about that. You have aliens. Now, I'm probably going to make that its own thing. And ghosts and spirits. And yes, we can talk about the orbs. So that'll be its own show as well. And it should be a fun series to make. I haven't done those before, so it's gonna be interesting. And Enzo's gonna do all the work. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
I need to renegotiate this contract.
You already signed. It's too late.
Damn it.
I own you for the next.
I just clicked yes on the agreement, like all the other stuff on the internet.
You never read the fine print, and that's your fault. That's not my fault. But anyway, we've got this cryptid paranormals, and the way I took this is like my show, Hairyman, Hoaxes, and Hoodwinks. Everything we've got out there in regards to cryptids has had some type of hoax or hoodwink attached to it at some point. And I'm going to kind of go through those today with y'all. And it should be good. Let's see. Grasshopper. Hello. Welcome. Did I say Sandra Piper? I hope I said Sandra Piper. I love you, dear. Thanks for being here. So, it's this whole gambit of stuff that I just talked about, Mothman and all these different ones. And I'm gonna include Mothman a little bit later. But do you like my dog man below the dog man picture? The dog with the human with the dog head there. That's a little bit of a jab. Oh, you're muted. You muted yourself.
Oh, sorry. It looks like he should be playing poker with his friends.
Right? I had to add him in there. I know people who like the dogman stuff are probably going, what? What did she do? Hey, Jay, welcome. I just thought it was really interesting little picture there. So
I'm almost a little more disturbed by the sexy hip thrusting Sasquatch in the center there. That's
oh yeah, he's like,
bam. During his photo shoot, right before he turns around and walks off the stage.
Different. He's gray colored, like the gray alien over there on the other side. I don't know what I was thinking. It's all good. It is all good. But so let's start with the terms first, okay? Because I've talked about it before, but hoaxes, it is disinformation, but it's when somebody is deliberately sharing information to trick you, okay, into believing something that's not true, and that the reasoning can be for clout, money, to get ahead somehow. So there's a reason behind it. Usually there means to an end type of thing. They do the hoax so they can get the money. And we do know examples of that here. Gary, I considered a whole gamut of things paranormal, like I just said, cryptids, UFOs, aliens, ghosts, spirits, as paranormal. There's also something supernatural. There can be supernatural as well, can be attached to paranormal things, but that's a whole nother thing. We might get into that later too.
I think actually a lot of people get confused by that. Paranormal has kind of been relegated more to, like ghosts and really locked in that when really the definition it is anything that's beyond the scope of normal scientific understanding is what paranormal falls in. So that includes all of this technically.
Right. And that's how I'm taking this. Okay. It's a wide range of things, and we all kind of fall under that umbrella. Remember, our little world here is a very small portion of the, of people belief system. We're very small people belief in this type of things, but sometimes we're laughed at for believing in this kind of stuff. That's still a big deal. There's a lot of people who are in this community and they don't share what they do, not with their families or friends, for fear of ridicule. That is still a thing out there. So, but we're here and we share what we like, whatever we found, our investigations, our research, our photos, pictures, videos, and all you can do is, continue the search, because there's always stuff that we want to know about. And then, until a lot of this stuff in regards to cryptids is brought to science, it's just this building up. We're just building up information. and
to be fair, that's how all the other fields are as well. UFOs and hauntings and all of that stuff, until you have, as you mentioned, once you got that body, once you got that spaceship, once you got that ghost in a bottle that you can talk to,
right?
That's about the only way some people will believe or at least consider it.
Yeah. So, but there's this other end to this side, and that's misinformation, where it's false information is shared, but it's by accident. Or you don't know you're giving out misinformation because you believe in what you're sharing. That's not hoaxing, okay? lot of people, if they believe in what they're doing and what they're sharing is the truth, that's not hoaxing. That's just giving out misinformation. And that's okay to me. I don't care about that. If somebody's out there and they're putting out a bunch of stuff and I don't believe in it, that's fine. I don't. It's not harming me. It's not harming anybody else. It's just it's out there. But with the intentions of being deliberate, that's a whole nother ballgame to me, and that's why I like to let people be aware of this stuff. Remember, there's always somebody out there, trying to pull the wool over your eyes. So don't let that happen, and ask questions and be diligent about recognizing red flags on certain things, and talking to each other. That's how we pass on information, is just by saying, hey, did you see that photo on Facebook? And there's, oh yeah, but that's not what it is. You need to pass on the information. And if you have truths, don't keep it to yourself. But so this is how I look at things. Okay. It is my opinion. You guys are more than welcome to believe in everything that comes in front of you. But I kind of look at things a little bit differently in regards to that. So I need a little bit more proof for me to make things work. But it doesn't mean I don't have fun doing it, because I do. I definitely have fun doing all this. So let's start with our favorite topic: Bigfoot, Yeti, Sasquatch, Almas, Hairyman, tall ones, tall man, skunk ape, booger, wood booger. How many can I name? Cherokee devil, Yow Yaren, Buckwaz, Fauk, monster, Skookum, Momo, Oma. Did I say Buckwaz already? See, now I'm all grass man. I don't know. They all have a name from all over, and they have hoaxes. They have them, and some of them we can't prove that they're hoaxes, but because the community holds them so close to their heart. And I think you all know I'm going to bring up the Patterson-Gimlin. I am not saying, listen to me, I am not saying it's a hoax, people. Okay. But I am about 80-20 on whether it's real or not. And that's for my own reasons. There are things about it I don't like in regards to its walking and stuff like that. But it has stood up to time. Nobody has been able to debunk the Patterson-Gimlin footage, which happened back in 1967. And we still have Bob Gimlin around, who has told his story over and over. Some say he has changed his story. Some say he hasn't. Some have come forward saying they were in the suit. And there's no proof of anything. So all we can do is say that for 1967, that film was a pretty darn good film in regards to the way the Sasquatch looked. Okay, you have to remember the time, the best thing we had going for us a little couple years after that was the Planet of the Apes. That looks nothing like the Planet of the Apes. Okay. So nor do I think that they had the money to have somebody create something like that in their bank account. I don't think they had that.
I'll have to admit I was a little dubious of it myself until I saw the stabilized version where everything's all, because of course, the original, the story was he was on the back of the horse trying to film this thing and it scared the horses and everything's going crazy. But with the stabilized version, even though it's not that long, it's only a few seconds, you can certainly see it walking off. That was like, oh, this is a very different thing seeing it like this.
Right. They have that footage. They also have some more stabilized footage of it walking away, and you see her badonkadonk, and it looks good. It does look good. We have a lot of people who have just completely analyze this footage and to be able to see muscles and all. I don't see all that stuff, but they see all kinds of things that are going on there. So, and why would they make it female? In those times, why would they make it female? I think that's a pretty rare thing. Don't you dare. The dog's going to drop my whole green screen. Get out of here. Go. Get out over there. Go sit over there. Whoops. Okay. What did I just do? Okay.
Yeah. Making it a female costume just makes it that much more difficult to fake if you're going to go that route. It's like, you just added a whole other level of difficulty to it. Why go to that trouble if you're just doing a shaky cam thing out in the woods in 1967?
Yeah. So, it goes both ways, and people are adamant. Some, it is real, and that's the best thing we've had. Why haven't we had another video like this? I don't know. Was it they were just in the right time, right place, for that to happen? It could be. It could be that's what we've got for now. And it's good enough, but it doesn't hold. That whole video isn't the reason why I'm a true believer. My belief comes in my friends who have said to my face, this is my sighting. I saw one of these things, and that's where my belief comes from. So that's strong enough for me to get, go through this and have it be one of my, best, my time. This is how I want to spend my time, is reading, searching, doing this research and putting on this show. And that's what it's all about. It's because I'm still having fun doing this. And until I don't, this is what I do. So you can take this as a real thing here, the Patterson-Gimlin, or not. It really doesn't matter as long as you're part of the community and you're trying to, move the ball forward, as we always say. It's going to take a while, I think, but it's fun to talk about. It is definitely fun to talk about. For some, maybe not Jay Fritz. He doesn't like to talk about it. He had a disturbing experience, just so you know. So not his favorite thing. But then we have our favorite, Rick Dyer, of course, who's
that guy?
Openly, hoaxed the community several times, and made a lot of money. $70,000 on his first one in 2008, and over $180,000 on his second bout in 2012 to 2014. So we've got the hoaxers out there when we need to be careful of all that going around. Now, that's a true hoaxer there, okay, what we would call a true hoaxer, but
he's not shy about admitting it either.
No,
that's
not
the surprising thing. Yeah.
And if you're new to the show here, you can find, I did interview with him last year, and then one, I said, already been a month, last month. Now my cat wants to get into the show. Go away, animals. Jeez. You can find that show on my playlist, so you can go look at those great shows. But we also have stuff dealing with the Yeti. So this is the Yeti skull at Kumjong in Nepal. And this skull was said to be good luck Yeti skull that they had for many, many years, and didn't allow anybody to tamper with it, touch it, even rarely even see it. It was kept safe, locked up, and it was their good luck.
High security measures you can see in that picture there with the brass padlock and key there.
I guess originally it was kept by a woman in her home as good luck. And Later, it was taken and put into the temple there for safekeeping. And it was just, everybody took it for what it was worth, what it was said, that it was a sacred Yeti head and it was good luck for the village. And that was that. And it was kept sacred for a long time until finally, white man came in, and we must know. We must know.
They ruined everything.
I know, we did. Well, they did, and they took it and had it analyzed, and oops, there we go. Perkins, who was a zoologist with a team that was out there, concluded it was not scalp tissue, and they went along and got a bunch of different hides from the area, and the conclusion that the scalp had been fabricated from the hide of a Himalayan siro, which is a goat antelope from the region. So, and there's the corresponding picture of what it was made out of. And so I wouldn't call that a hoax. It's a hoodwink. It's just something that was portrayed as something for so long. And for them, there was no reason to think anything other than it was a real Yeti scalp and it gave them luck. And I hear to this day, they still take that as that it's a Yeti skull, even though it has been proven not to be. It doesn't matter to them because they still hold it sacred. So that's part of it. It's all interwoven. That there are things like that. I mean, you heard about remember the hand and the who was it? Jimmy Stewart's wife secretly took the finger out and snuck it into the United States.
I have never heard this story. Yeah, no, what is it?
I should have pulled that story. I didn't, so I don't have all the information on that one. But yeah, there was a Yeti, supposedly a Yeti hand, and he broke off a piece of it and hid it in her garments, in her overnight little bag thing, and tried to and sneaked it into the U.S. But I don't know what's happened to it since. I don't know what happened with it. So if anybody in the chat does know what happened to that finger,
that's pretty strange. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
At all?
Let me see. Yes, Americans are rude about there's people's sacred artifacts. They are.
You are tend to be wrong.
People tend to be for themselves and always thinking about the cha-ching. They want the money and the notoriety. They want the notoriety. So, okay. Grasshopper says he thinks Peter Burns switched the finger with another finger and sent it with Stewart.
Is that magic trick where you like pull your thumb out kind of thing? Or, yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't prepared to do
story.
That whole story. It just, I happened to think about it. Yep. She hid it in her undies, but I wasn't going to say that, Mr. Lee. That's why I said.
Wait, she really did? That's how she smuggled it out?
Yes. Because they, nobody
would know we were going to be talking sexy talk here. What in the world's going on this show? What kind of operation are you running here, Nikki?
What year was that? It was a long time ago. So back then, men would never dare look into a woman's undie bag, So that's why. It doesn't want to leave now. I can't undo you. There it goes. Never fell for this. Never fell for the stole your nose business.
That old gag.
Not your nose. Oh my goodness.
That's what holds my glasses up. Please give it back.
Well, grandpas do that. Yeah. Grandpas always did that joke.
My nose has a thumbnail?
Come hold my finger. Oh. Okay, well, evidence may be contaminated. Yeah, that evidence probably is contaminated. So let's move on. Here's somebody's favorite topic. Not my favorite topic.
Oh
Dogman.
man.
We're gonna now the origins of the Michigan was a Michigan Dogman was original. It was allegedly witnessed in 1887 in Wexford County, Michigan, and the creature is described as, 7 foot tall, blue or amber-eyed, bipedal, canine-like animal that had a torso of a man, and he actually could scream like a person, but it it was like it's supposed to come and go in a 10-year cycle, and that's something I didn't know until I was looking it up, is that it appears in a 10-year cycle and falls on the years ending in 7. Did you know that?
I did not know
I did
that.
not know that. But there have been sightings all throughout Michigan and the Lower Peninsula. And it got really popular from this disc jockey named Steve Cook, who recorded a song about the sightings. And it got really, really popular after that. But, oops, everything's stuck here. It had many. It has a whole lot of sightings. Like in 1937, in Paris, Michigan, Robert Fortney was attacked by 5 wild dogs and said that one of the 5 walked on 2 legs. Reports of similar creatures also came from Allegheny County, or no, not Allegheny. It was Allegan County in the 1950s, and the Cross Village in 1967. But also Linda Godfrey, she was a news person, local news person, and she was assigned to do the story of these sightings, and she created a book called The Beast of Bray Road. And that also took off. But as far as the song that this guy made, he totally said he made it up. It was for April Fool's joke, and he just created that song just as fun and games. But we all know that there's been, films. 2011, there was Rich Bauer released The Dog Man. And then we have the infamous Gable film, which is the hoax I decided to portray for Dogman. And if anybody wants any information more about the Beast of Bray Road, it's pretty readily available out there. I don't have anywhere to put all my stuff. So the Gable film. This was a 3.5-minute reel of an 8mm film, which turned up in a box of odds and ends in an estate sale. It looked like it had been shot in the 1970s. Now, this alleged, that it was shot in the 1970s. And it had a scene where it showed a creature very similar to the Dogman, running up onto some people. Now the starts out with this film being there on snowmobiles going back and forth, old snowmobiles, and it looks old. The cars in the film are old. Everything looks right in place, and then you see this thing coming out of the woods, galloping like on four legs. And I'm not going to show it here, but this is, part what it looks like. And then you see it coming towards them. And the top little picture there is some of the mouth when it gets open. But in fact, it was not. It was nothing. It was created by a guy named Mike Argusa. Agrusa. Yeah, it is Agrusa. And who claimed that he created the film as a prank. And the show, the cars, the props, everything was completely made up. But it got such what's the word I'm looking for? It had gone out to so many different places that even Monster Quest had picked up the story and decided to do a story about it. And it was going to be portrayed as the American werewolf story. And it went on, but even several weeks before Monster Quest was to start shooting, they were told that it was all made up, and Monster Quest still decided to play it out, and that it was a good thing because they would be able to play up an update type of deal where this was found out. You know, Mike Agrusa came forward and said that it was made up. So it's still out there, and you can find that. And but it was a great story. I remember seeing it the first time.
To be fair, in that context, I feel that's kind of okay for Monster Quest to do that, because how long did this play before a lot of people took it very, and a lot of people still take it seriously as a real thing. So that's good. They at least came in and it's like, by the way, this is probably fake. So
right. Well, it's okay because they're telling the everybody to beware. You never know, and it is a good play up. It's a good play up to do that for them, as the entertainment and profit type of thing. It's a good thing for them. So, but yeah, and that's they even had like an old police car and everything that matched the time in it. It was a complete do up, and there was a Gable film part 2. If you didn't know that, you can go on one of my previous shows. I go through that and show parts of that. It even has one of the guys gets torn up and you see half his body and it shows how they did it, where he's buried. They buried him halfway and then they stuck the fake innards and everything and did it all up. So it's a great thing. But yep, that's all these little things started up that Dogman thing, and it just took off from there, and people having sightings, and it's really taken off. Oops. Where's my other one? Oh, I already put it over there. But yeah, so you can check that out. And then I know there's been other songs as well, but Steve Cook has his song was called The Legend. If you want to go look for that, it is still out there. And that's a ghillie suit that he was wearing while pretending to be the dog man, the big scary dog man. Now you have one of my favorites, the chupacabra. Do you know about the chupacabra, Enzo?
I do know a little bit about it. Doesn't it literally translate into bloodsucker or something like that?
Goat sucker. Yeah.
Goat sucker, that's it.
Goat sucker, right. Yeah. So it is a legendary creature, and it's pretty much in folklore of all over the Americas, with first sightings reported back in 1995. But it has a history a little bit further back in Puerto Rico. So they say it's this, heavy creature the size of a small bear with a row of spines and all the way to the tail. And it looks more or less kind of like a dog. Some say it had a long tail. Some say it doesn't. Lizard-like face. And it's got the canines for blood sucking because it's that type of creature. And it does lack a lot of evidence, but the history goes all the way back to when there was killings in this place in Puerto Rico called Mocha. So they used to call it the Vampiro de Mocha, which is the vampire of Mocha. Yeah, they were calling that because they were finding their animals that were drained of blood and throughout the area. Even one of the reports showed that as many as 150 farm animals and pets had been reportedly killed, drained of their blood there in Puerto Rico. So it was a pretty big deal. You know, I don't know if we don't know if it was somebody doing that on purpose or if it was vampire bats or fruit bats or it'd have to be the ones that drink blood.
Any other animal attack, there'd have been blood all over the place.
Right. Let me see. There was, I don't want to get to that.
But even like vampire bats and stuff like that, they're not sucking their prey dry, really. They're getting their fill and then take it off.
Right. Because it looks like they had necropsies done on the animals in Puerto Rico, and the Department of Agriculture analyzed 300 reported victims of the chupacabras and found that they had not been bled dry. Okay. So that caused a stir because half of them wanted to believe that it had been the chupacabra, and they were trying to cleanse their lands and pray over their lands, you know, to take away the devil creature that was haunting them and make it like a spiritual thing as well. Let's see. But in October of 2010, the University of Michigan, a biologist by the name of Barry O'Connor, he concluded that all the chupacabra reports in the U.S. were simply coyotes infected with a parasite. And it is kind of like, whoops, wrong button, what we see here. This specimen was actually taken from a lady, she had a ranch, and this creature was wandering around in her ranch, and she shot it there. Now, she claimed it was a chupacabra, but it also came back that it was just had a parasite and mange and was I think the actual report had said, because I couldn't re-find it. I didn't re-look for this, and I knew I was going to stumble when I got to this part, but because I don't have the lady's name, and maybe somebody in the chat does, but it was just a parasite.
Yeah, I've my old job I had a while back involved wildlife management, and there were a couple times we ran across coyotes and even a regular dog that just had severe mange along with other things wrong with them. And that's exactly what they look like. Very sickly, spindly looking. You're kind of doing them a favor, putting them down when they get to that stage, especially.
A Mexican wolf, Uncle Bones, was that what it was? I didn't think it was a wolf, though. Uncle Bones says that it was a Mexican wolf. But it could be. I didn't look into this one. So, I mean, I knew about it, and I knew it had been dispelled for being a chupacabra. So that was all I needed.
I wasn't aware wavy bacon-like tongue and blue eyes were part of being a chupacabra.
It does look like it, doesn't it? It was a creative, what do you call them?
A little artistic license in the
yes. Can't think of the name. I'm not. DNA said. Oh, the DNA. What did he say? And he said, "I've seen a dog with rabies. That was some scary shit. Oof, that's so dangerous. There is no cure for rabies. If you get bit, you need to go immediately to the hospital." because there is no cure for that. Once it gets to a certain stage, you don't live. You don't live.
Pretty good idea to at least investigate that if you get bit by almost any wild animal, I think.
Right. Yeah, you don't know what could be
unless you shot it after it bit you, and you could take that with you where they can actually test it at the hospital, kind of a thing.
That's true.
You're probably going to have to go through the rabies sequence. I think they still, I don't think that's really updated so much in the last 30, 40 years. You still have to get injections in your stomach still, I think.
Oh, right? I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposedly really painful.
Yeah.
I don't know. Dude. I don't know. I still wouldn't be wanting to run around and run into that thing, though.
Oh yeah, they're creepy looking when you see them when they're at this stage. It certainly doesn't look natural, and I could see why. If it's like dawn or dusk or something like that, you're just getting fleeting glimpses of it. It's like, that didn't look like a normal, dog, wolf, coyote, whatever you would like to call it. It wasn't a normal canine when you see them in this stage.
Right. The taxidermy is what the word I was trying to think of.
Oh.
Yeah. He, I think he did an okay job. He made it look sinister.
It looks pretty good. The eyes are.
He put blue eyes in there.
Bizarre,
they weren't blue. Okay, that's just what he put in there. Well, she may have said, well, he looked like he had blue eyes. Once he dies, those kind of shrivel up. So those are not the real eyes. Okay,
one blue this way, one blue that way. Yeah, that's how it ends up.
Possums are immune to rabies? I did not know that.
Is that true? I didn't know that.
They eat an amazing amount of ticks too. Well, that's true. That's good information. So that means we should keep possums, right? And keep them out of the stew pots?
Yeah.
I would never
bad rap, the old possum.
Oh, I think their hands are freaky.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Good. Okay.
I know when they get scared, their thing is to like open their mouth really wide because they're scared, which just bears all those little needle-like teeth in their mouth. And you think it's going to attack.
That brings us into Nessie. Ooh, that's my big packet here. We all know Loch Ness, right? Yes, Loch Ness, the Nessie, the Scottish folklore inhabits the Loch Ness in the Scottish Highlands. Well, this photo here, which has been named the surgeon's photo, that's a known hoax. It was a hoax. That was in 1934. So Nessie is said to be described as a large, long neck with one or more humps protruding from the water, and is a creature that has been attention in the world since around 1933, 32, 33. So been around for a while. I wanted to talk about this one here. So originally they were calling it the monster fish. It was its first name. And sea serpent. And then it went to dragon. And ultimately it was called Loch Ness since 1940s, and Nessie, as a happy thing, because now they're using it as a tourist trap deal. But one of the very first accounts of something happening in the loch, I was really floored by. It happened in 565.
Yep.
And it was on a report by Saint Columba. So what it says is that this Irish monk named Saint Columba was staying in the land of the Picts with his companions when he encountered a local resident burying a man by the River Ness. They explained that the man was swimming. Oh, dog. Get out of here. She's tearing down my green screen.
You might have a chupacabra in your house.
She is. All those little snaps were the little clips up on the top. Slowly but surely, she's bringing it down. So there was a man swimming in a river and he was attacked by a water beast. That was the first encounter, and that he was mauled and dragged underwater. Despite of men seeing this and going out and trying to rescue him, they did not before he passed. So the St. Columba made a sign of the cross and said, "Go no further. Do not touch the man. Go back at once." And the creature stopped as if he had been pulled back with ropes and fled, because somebody jumped in to save the man, and the creature supposedly was coming after him.
You got to say it now. You shall not pass.
You shall not pass. But yeah, pretty powerful. That was the first encounter there. Now, there's been many after that: 1871, 1888, 93. But I found this next two interesting. And the first one was this one right here, which was Arthur Grant in 1934. On a motorcyclist, Arthur Grant claimed to have nearly hit the creature while approaching Arbachan near northeastern end of the loch at 1 a.m. on a moonlight night. According to Grant, it had a small head attached to a long neck. The creature saw him and crossed the road back to the loch. Grant, the veterinary student, described it as cross between a seal and a plesiosaur. He said he dismounted and followed it to the loch, but saw only ripples. Grant produced a sketch of the creature that was examined by zoologist Burton, who stated it was consistent with the appearance and behavior of an otter. Regarding the long size of the creature reported by Grant, it has been suggested that this was a faulty observation due to poor light conditions. So they think he just saw an otter crossing the road.
Something big enough for him to stop, though. I mean, it's
certainly
you wouldn't want to hit even a regular otter on your motorcycle.
That would be a pretty damn big otter for me to stop.
Yeah.
You should think. And of course, we go back to that surgeon's photo. That happened in, what is the date? 1934, where Wilson refusal to have his name associated to the surgeon. I'm trying to skip ahead. For 60 years, the photo was considered evidence of the monster's existence, although skeptics dismissed it as driftwood, an elephant, or otter. The photo scale of the controversial is often cropped down, making it seem to appear larger with ripple-like waves, while uncropped shots on the other end of the loch on the monster is in the center. The ripples in the photo were found to fit the size of the pattern of small ripples, not large ones. And I want to get to the part where it says about the small little, let's see. Okay. Details of the photo were taken, and the creature was reportedly a small toy submarine, and it was built by Christian Spurlung, the son-in-law of Marmaduke Wetherell. Wetherell had been publicly ridiculed by his employer, and after he had found Nessie footprints, that turned out to be a hoax. So it started with the prints, and then when they laughed at him, he made the surgeon's photo. He made the little thing to float in the water, and he used here we go. The toy submarine was bought at Woolworths, and its head and neck were made from wood putty. After testing it in a local pond, the group went to the loch, and that's where people had seen it and took the photo. What else? No, little is known of the second photo. So I guess there's another one of this. According to Develop, Wilson was uninterested in the second photo. He allowed Morrison to keep the negative, and the photo was rediscovered years later. Interesting. But
Wow.
so there's but since then, I mean, people are still looking for Loch Ness. They still believe it to be there. They had a sonar study done in 1967 through 68 for a year by Dr. Tucker. They had another Rhines study that happened 72, 75, 2001, and in 2008, where they were looking. They had sonar, strobe cameras going.
One of the big problems with investigating Loch Ness is there's so many smaller tributaries that dump off into it. There's a lot of silt and just trash in the water itself. You can't see more than a few feet on a good day in the water. So actual visual, photograph type stuff has always been poor. There's been a series of photos like that where it kind of looks like a plesiosaur or a cloud,
Right.
Or if you look at it, it's pareidolia, basically what you see, kind of a thing over it. And then they have, every about like 10, 15 years, somebody comes up with sonar stuff and they sweep the entire lake.
Yeah.
And
Somebody gets a
they
little
never
bit of
find
money.
anything. Yeah. There are some really big sturgeon that live there at that lake.
Yes.
And
Yes, there is.
they think that so any kind of like big hit that they get, on their sonar, it usually gets discounted immediately as that.
Right. And you still have people like that. Oh, you can't even see with my little banner there. Let me get it off. Let me take it off. I can find it. There we go. This was in 2004. A Fire TV documentary team using cinematic special effects experts tried to convince people that there was something in the loch. They constructed this animatronic model of a plesiosaur, calling it Lucy. And despite setbacks, including Lucy falling to the bottom of the loch, there was 600 sightings that were reported where she was placed. So, people, that's pretty good though. I like it. If I saw that floating, I would be like, yeah, there's Nessie. So let's see. What else we got? Oh, they also had that Operation Deep Scan. And that was in 87. Just a whole bunch. They even had a DNA survey done.
DNA.
Yeah. This one says an international team consisting of researchers from the universities of Otago, Copenhagen, Hull, and Highlands and Islands did a DNA survey of the lake in June of 2018, looking for unusual species. The results were published in 2019. No DNA of large fish such as sharks, sturgeons, and catfish had been found. No otter or seal DNA were obtained either. There was a lot of eel DNA, though. A lot of eel. And it just says who they were. Professor Neil Gemlin. The possibility of a large amount of eel DNA simply comes from many small eels. No evidence of any reptilian sequences were found. So I think it can be fairly sure that there is probably not a giant scaly reptile swimming around the Loch Ness. But yeah, a lot of eels. They got a lot of eels.
We'll talk about more about eels here in a minute with the next topic, I think.
Oh, yeah. So there we go. That one's down. Now we have Caddy. Everybody hear about Caddy?
Not as familiar with Caddy.
Cadborosaurus, nicknamed Caddy, was by journalist what's his name, Archie Wills, is a sea serpent in the folklore of regions of Pacific coast of North America. Its name was derived from Cadboro Bay in the Greater Victoria, British Columbia, and the Greek root word saurus, meaning lizard or reptile. And this was one of the early photos there of something that had washed up that they're calling one of the caddies.
And this is actually in the ocean, or is this in a lake? I'm not very familiar with Caddy.
In the Greater Victoria, British Columbia area. So it says Pacific coast of North America. So it's near Victoria, which is right on the coast, I guess. Let me see if it doesn't have a map on my paperwork.
Alaska has a few tales of sea serpent-like creatures out in the ocean side, on the south side of Alaska.
Yeah. Huh. My meat been loafing. What? My meat been loafing for a while now. Are you making meatloaf? Was that a meatloaf joke? I hope that was okay. So, this is what they feel it is after going through that lake as well. This is one of the things they suspect that picture was really of, and it was of an oarfish. They are super weird and long.
Yeah.
And can get really huge. Look at that. How many have to hold that sucker up?
Got like 18 people hanging on to that one.
And they do wash up every now and then. You see them wash up, and they look completely different because, they've all rotted and dried up, and they take on this weird shape. But that is what is suggested that Caddy could be an example of. And it's kind of like the king of herrings is what they call it. And it can get up to 56 feet in length.
Wow.
Weighing 660 pounds. That's pretty big.
Imagine being that diver there and just seeing that monster swinging by. You would definitely think that was a sea monster for sure.
They have a tendency of, when anchors are dropped into deeper waters, they will float vertically along the chain. Or you can see them along the chain, and they just kind of float there. Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know why the reason is, but I did see that on a TV show.
Huh. Might be something with the EM field coming off of the metal or something.
It could be, but they are this way. I don't know if it's a feeding thing or what, but they will go up and down. They will be up and down.
They think the chain is another oarfish?
Maybe, I don't know. They also said that Caddy could possibly be a basking shark. So I think that picture kind of looked more like the first one, the oarfish. But they are really unusual. And you made a good
basking sharks are pretty weird.
Yeah, you made a good point about what we were talking about earlier. Can you explain that?
Well, sharks in general are mostly cartilage. Their jawbone is kind of more bone. That's why I always see those at the touristy shop with the little teeth in there and all that stuff. But when a shark dies out in the ocean, the smaller fish will pick it apart, of course, like that. And usually the only thing that's left is the upper part of the head and the main vertebrae going all the way to the tail. And basically the whole lower half gets kind of eaten away, and the rest kind of floats up to the top and washes ashore and looks very strange. It doesn't look like what the original shark looked like at all. And basking sharks are especially odd. They're like that cross between a shark and a whale. You see it with its mouth open there. It's actually absorbing plankton like larger whales do and stuff like that. So it's not, it's not going to eat people or fish or stuff like that. So there's not a whole lot to them because they can close their mouth and they actually do kind of look like a big ass shark, as you would expect a shark to look like. But when they're feeding like this, which just goes further to show that there's not a lot to them. So when they die, they rot pretty quick, and they are very weird looking when you just see pieces and parts of them float up on the beach.
Looks so weird. I don't know. It is one of the weirdest looking sharks. I mean, there are some weird sharks out there, but this one would still scare the heck out of me if I saw that.
Oh yeah, there's a few videos you can find online of divers that are just down in the water. You see one of the divers point, and the guy swings the camera, and you just see this big mouth just swimming through the ocean. It's like, what is that?
And they're huge too. Does this say how big they get? No, it doesn't. It doesn't say, but they get pretty big. Mr. Lee, you're a fantastic swimmer. Could you swim away from a basking shark?
Second only to the whale shark in size, the basking shark can reach lengths of up to 40 feet, with the average adult being 22 to 29, 11,000 pounds.
Wow. Dang. Let's see. In 2009, fisherman Kelly Nash purportedly filmed several minutes of footage featuring 10 to 15 creatures in Nushagak Bay. Nushagak? I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. In 2011, a very short segment of footage was shown on Discovery TV show Hillstranded, where the Hillstrand boys from Deadliest Catch, apparently saw Nash's footage and unsuccessfully attempted to find one of the creatures. But let's see, carcasses. There was another picture of one here. Oh, it's a very bad picture though. 1930s, 1934, 37, 41, 47, 50, 56, 62, 63. All of them were just carcasses found with a head resembling a horse. This one said carcass was found with an elephant-like head. This one says a carcass found with long hair. And they got a mermaid.
Long hair. Was it singing?
This one was found with 4 tails and thick hair, but was later determined to be a whale shark. What?
4 tails.
4 tails. How can you get? How it just broke down and broke into pieces or something? Probably.
Just the way it was. It deteriorated. It ends up, and the same thing with the hair. You get the skin all flayed apart and stuff like that, and gets all frayed and weird looking.
Ooh. This
plus whatever's growing on it.
One was identified as a fetal baleen whale. One was identified as a basking shark, 30 feet long. One skeleton was 24 feet long with flippers. A whale, considered thought to be a whale. So, but at least they're testing them out.
Yeah.
In 1991, in July, on Johns Island, San Juan Islands, Phyllis Harsh claims to have caught a small 2-foot baby catty and returned it to the water. You think that's true? She returned it to the water. Yeah, she caught it and she returned it.
It's too small. It's not a keeper. Gotta throw it back. I don't have a license for this. I gotta check.
We will never know, folks. Never know. Then there's Champ.
Oh, there's old Champ.
Champ. In American folklore, Champ or Champy is the name of the lake monster said to live in Lake Champlain, 125-mile long body of fresh water shared by New York and Vermont, with a portion extending into Quebec and Canada. The legend of the monster is considered to draw tourism in Burlington, Vermont, and Plattsburgh, New York areas. Maybe.
Yep, I used to live in Plattsburgh for several years. I was stationed at Plattsburgh Air Force Base back in the 80s and 90s, and I never heard any tales of it. And while I was there was a lot of older stories, but supposedly the reason why there weren't as many stories is while I was up there, I don't know what state the lake is in right now. It's been a long time since I've been up there, but Lake Champlain was infested with lamprey eels. Which they latch onto anything in the water and, like little vampires, just start sucking blood and everything like that.
Wow.
They don't get big enough to look like that. But the theory is whatever living champ creatures there were in the lake may have succumbed to all those evil lamprey eels.
Sheesh. And they have all those teeth, right? They're the ones that are just the circular mouth with all the teeth.
Yep.
Yeah. Scary. Those are scary. It says that there has been over 300 reported sightings of Champ. And the original story is related to the Iroquois legends of giant snakes, which the Mohawk named, oh my God, Onarekoa. Onarekoa. French Champlain, the founder of Quebec and Lake's namesake, is often claimed to be the first European to have sighted Champ in 1609. Wow. So, however, the legend dates back to a fake quote published in summer of 1970 issue of Vermont Life. In the Vermont Life article, Champlain is alleged to have documented a 20-foot serpent thick as a barrel and a head like a horse. This quote has often been repeated, but is not factual. Champlain did document large fish. There are great abundance of fish. And it's just talking about pike, a lot of pike and the eels. So interesting. Okay, here is the Mansi photo. Which is that? Well, I must have been that first. That in the middle there is the Mansi photo.
The one with the blue, where it's
the one with the blue. That was in
surgeon photo too.
Yeah, 1977. Mansi took the photo while on vacation with her family that appears to show the dinosaur with its head out of the water. And it just says it was suggested the object in the photograph could possibly have been a tree trunk or a log. Hence this photo here. Here's a illustration of what they think it was just a floating log. But I can't believe you wouldn't have seen that cute little Champ. They have a little Champ guy walking around. I didn't put it on there, but I'll show it. Oh, you can't see him because he's green. Dang it.
There's always someone that thinks they see it because there's a big ferry that runs between the New York side and the Vermont side over to Vermont, all year round. And it's got icebreakers and stuff on it because that lake does freeze over in the wintertime. But
Donald? Doesn't Donald live there, you guys?
I know I know Eyes in the Woods mentioned it earlier, taking the ferry and stuff like that. So there's a few folks up in that part of the world. But it always seemed like there was the ferry runs, of course, back and forth fairly often and churns the water up, and it's just the water, and especially in the wintertime where you've just got a narrow alley of open water amongst the ice and tree limbs and everything. And of course, it creates a big wake, so stuff gets blasted around, all churned up in there. And people are always saying, there it is. I think I saw it. Where'd it go? I don't know. It's gone. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know Donald lives up there too, as well as Eyes. They live up in that area. So, oops. Nothing because it doesn't want to go. Oh, whoa.
We're back to the land for
it jumped.
Oh.
No, there. Wait, it jumped like 3.
Whoa. We're all over the place.
We're still on Ogopogo. We have Ogopogo first. So,
yes.
This is the lake monster too, and that's supposed to inhabit Lake Okanagan in British Columbia, Canada. And they also use it as a kind of a touristy thing over there, but it's developed from the First Nations folklore and widespread water monster folklore, and it's all over. I guess the motif of Ogopogo is all over the place. And it is said the background is Okanagan Lake is the largest of 5 interconnected freshwater fjord lakes in Okanagan Valley in British Columbia, named after the First Nations people who first inhabited the area. The lake monster had been mostly described as being a serpentine creature with smooth, dark skin. Why is my phone is listening to me? Somebody is listening to me. Large body thicker than a telephone pole and being up to 50 feet in length. The monster has said to move at incredible speeds, coiling its body in vertical undulations and propelling itself with a powerful tail.
Yeah, the Ogopogo, the locals up there are always quick to point out that, oh no, we're not that fake plesiosaur over in Scotland. That's not us. This is an actual serpent kind of thing. That's why you see like the little undulations and all the pictures and stuff.
The humps. The big humps. So there is a lot of native background to this and origins and sightings.
A lot of tales.
And names I cannot pronounce, so I won't. And a lot of sightings, 1980, 1968, 1872, a sighting was the first detailed Ogopogo account from the white settler. She was the first non-native person to live in the region, establishing relations with the native peoples. Interesting.
I remember as a kid, first hearing of Ogopogo by there was a TV show that Leonard Nimoy of Star Trek fame narrated called In Search of.
Yes.
And they talked a lot about, Bigfoot and all of the things that we love, of course, but they had a specific episode on Ogopogo. And honestly, these look like the same pictures from that 1970s show, but still pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah. Well, their calculations, they're saying, the experts, whoever they are saying that it was probably otters that people are seeing out there.
Those evil otters again.
Evil otters, yeah. Always in the water.
Messing around and pretending to be Ogopogo and scaring motorcyclists in Scotland.
So Okanagan Lake gets very cold in the winter, likely making it impossible for a whale-like creature to adapt to salt water to live there. So that has been adapted to salt water to live there. That's what it says. So another one, but I don't have a faker story for Ogopogo. So
it's too cold up there to people to mess around with that stuff.
Don't get in the water. Freezing. My sister says my humps, my lovely lady humps. That's funny. That is funny. Now we have the Mokele Mbembe Lingala. For one who stops the flow of rivers, is the water-dwelling entity that supposedly lives in the Congo River. And this one was interesting because I know I saw, I've actually seen Expedition, what's his name?
Expedition Unknown?
What's his name?
What is that guy's name?
Forgot his name. I love him. He's great. Come on, people. What's his name?
Josh something?
Gates. Yes, Josh Gates. You're right. Yeah, he went to go look for Mokele Mbembe. And what's interesting about this is the sightings. The pygmies, I believe they're pygmies. Let me double check. What's the sightings? They went out there, and the tribes people, during an expedition, they had taken a book of animals out there with them. And what they had been describing as this animal, mostly like the one up on the top with the horn. And they pointed out the picture of the rhino in the book of pictures they had taken. So they are speculating that it's just a misidentified new species of rhino that used to live up there. They don't think it lives there now, but that is a possible explanation. That it says here, the most reasonable and agreed upon explanation is that the Mokele Mbembe is a legend based on the black rhinos, a species more common in Central Africa. Oh, more common. The absence of this evidence, despite several centuries of Western contact with the region, numerous expeditions in search of the animal, and periodic aerial and satellite surveillance, all of which have detected elephants and other large animals, but no sauropods, which is what they thought it was, all argue against the existence of Mokele Mbembe.
I remember hearing about that a lot when I was a kid. It's like, oh, there's a brontosaurus that lives there in Africa someplace.
Yeah. I wanna see Fred Flintstone go down.
Yeah. Right at quitting time. He slides down the tail.
So I'm looking for, they don't really have a whole lot of other than that drawing there reflecting its supposable resemblance to a sauropod. But they don't have a whole lot of witness statements as that I could find. Whoa. But interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Until you mentioned earlier when we were going over this before the show, I had not heard about them pulling out the picture book of different animals and them pointing to a rhino saying that's what it was.
Right.
I had not heard that.
Right. Let me see if I can find the exact spot. This was the one I didn't highlight, and of course I don't remember. Okay, here we go. Is it? Danish crew. They've had all kinds of expeditions over there. There was one in 2001 by BBC broadcasters that did a TV series called The Congo. And here we go. It was with a group of Biaka pygmies who identified the Mokele Mbembe as a rhinoceros while looking at the illustrated manual of wildlife. Neither species of African rhinos is common in the Congo Basin, and the Mokele Mbembe may be a mixture of mythology and folk memory from a time when rhinoceroses were found in the area. So that was in 2001.
Wow. I mean, I'm certain that because that central part of sub-Saharan Africa is still relatively unexplored by kind of anybody. Even like indigenous tribes are sparse at best through those areas. So I'm certain there's a lot of undiscovered things there. I don't know about dinosaurs, though.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was just a misidentification. It's, but they don't know. They haven't seen anything else.
Yep.
Say that place again. Say what place again? Mokele Mbembe. That's the name of them. Or did I say
better than I could have done? Yeah.
I don't know which one he wants me to say again. Anyway, let's move on. So then we have the Mongolian death worm monster, whatever you want to call it. And it's got even a crazy Goli Kohi. Goli Kori. I don't know. Mongolian death worm. Yeah, it's a creature that allegedly is to exist in the Gobi Desert, and is there's a movie about the Mongolian death worm. You know that? Have you seen that movie? It's crazy. Yeah, it's
the only desert worms I'm familiar with are from Dune. I don't think this is it.
Yeah, those are way big. Those are kind of the same thing, though, just a bigger version. So this creature first came to the Western attention as a result of Roy Chapman Andrews' 1926 book On the Trail of Ancient Man. The American paleontologist describes secondhand tales of the monster that he heard at a gathering of Mongolian officials. None of those present ever had seen the creature, but they all firmly believed in its existence and described it minutely. Whatever that means. In 1983, a specimen. Oh, okay. I don't want to say that yet. So it's shaped like a sausage, about 2 feet long, and has no head nor legs. And it is so poisonous that merely to touch it means instant death. It lives in the most desolate parts of the Gobi Desert. And there have been investigations, of course, on this. Destination Truth also with Mr. Gates. And look, they even listen to this. In 1990 and 92, Irvin Mackerly led small groups of companions into the Gobi Desert to search for the worm, inspired by Frank Herbert's novel Dune.
Yes.
In which giant fictional sandworms could be brought to the surface by rhythmic thrumping. He converted a motor-driven thumper and even used small explosions to try to find it. Just like
small explosions.
Yeah.
I saw this in a movie. It's gonna work.
Yeah. What else can we say? So many cryptids have turned out to be hoaxes, but sightings of the death worm were likely driven by a mistaken identity of species and hallucinations caused by desert conditions. The only evidence of this creature has been sightings and stories of the locals, hence this right here. This is known as the dwarf sand boa or desert sand boa or Tartar sand boa. It's a species of snake in the Bolboidae family. The species is endemic to Asia and in the Gobi region. So this could be what they're seeing out there. But the Mongolian death worm is widely accepted as just being a legend.
Yeah, that actual picture looks nothing like the artist illustration we saw in the previous slide.
Right. Well, is it one of those things where the person, comes and says, I caught a fish this big, and it was this big. So
even the close up on that snake's face is like, would you please stop bothering me with this? I'm not the death worm.
I know. He does look kind of evil though. Okay, I think we are ready for my next segment. Let me get back to where I need to be, because it is time for me to find what I'm going to be doing. It is time for Bigfoot in the News, and we have got 2 articles for you today. And I printed these out so I wouldn't have any issues with the internet, because I am, as usual, having problems. I probably could put this back.
It's been holding up pretty good. You're doing great.
So the first is from penlive.com and happened 4 days ago. Bigfoot in Pennsylvania. All the info, time, and what took place from the state's one reported sighting last year. And it says, is Bigfoot out there somewhere roaming around? Well, the folks of the Bigfoot Field Researchers Organization seem convinced that the legendary creature exists. And if you check out their website, there's all sorts of interesting info. And you know how we love the BFRO. None. I have to go back to the chat so I can see faces. No. Okay, damn it. We're needing some chips and dip. Yep, told you should have brought the popcorn.
Yep.
And one of the most interesting features is the sighting section, where you can filter sighting accounts down to state and even county. Washington State has the most reported sightings with 708, and California is second with 461, followed by Florida with 338. Way to go, Matt. Central Florida Bigfoot. You've got some things to go look for. Pennsylvania is somewhere in the middle of the pack with 138 reportings, and it just keeps on going with sightings here. What else can I tell you about this? In the report, it has been deemed very credible. It says that 2 witnesses reported seeing a Sasquatch walking along Ghost Town Trail in Cambria County. The report says that the sighting took place between Ebensburg and Natty Glow in Keystone State of Pennsylvania, I guess. And that's about all it says. Moving on. Our next one is 4 days ago, alleged Bigfoot video on TikTok in 2023 isn't actually new. There exist 2 kinds of people, those who believe in Bigfoot and those who don't. But many have come to believe the video of a supposed Sasquatch that's going viral on TikTok is new and real. The legends of Bigfoot have long existed, just like the endless theories about their existence. The video in question has specifically convinced many, owing its source a Washington State traffic camera. But there's more to the new Bigfoot video on TikTok that meets the eye. The camera footage isn't new. The supposed Bigfoot video was first shared by I always say this wrong, Squalmy Pass official Twitter account 3 years ago, January 24th, 2020. And you guys remember that footage? It's that snowy ridge with that person walking up the mountain. That's what they're talking about. It was captured on a camera located on I-90 East. The caption accompanying it read, "I think Bigfoot is making the rounds across our mountain passes." Oops, sorry. The horse got away from me. Sorry.
Whoa.
Dang. Cats, dogs, and horses. I don't know what's going on.
It's necessary.
Yeah. The one TikToker commented, "That's a squatch. Look how far it goes. It goes that quickly. Awesome." And another says, doesn't say. It kind of ended weird. The official WS.DOT East official tweet states, "Sasquatch spotted. I'm not superstitious, just a little bit. Haven't noticed something strange on our Sherman Pass SR20 web camera before. If you look close by the tree on the left, there looks like something. Might be a Sasquatch. We will leave it up to you."
What does superstitious got to do with it?
I don't know.
They even say that?
I'm just reading it. I'm just trying to read it, but these things don't even make sense.
Well, that's TikTok. That's
yeah. Wait, was it this comment says, I find it too coincidental that it stopped and looked back, just like the video of the 50s or 60s, said one comment. I think he's referring to P&G there.
Talking about Patty.
Yeah.
Throwing some Patty shade there.
For sure. The next one says, that's a regular human stride. That's not even a Sasquatch strider. The bigger, a lot wider, a lot deeper. You can't make.
You got a little. You kind of trailed off on topics there mid sentence. I think
it was like, yeah, it got weird. I didn't want to finish it. These pictures are never clear, and the subject is too far away. A real Bigfoot never looks back," said another.
Mr. Expert, telling us how it works.
I know, right? Almost everybody. Everybody's an expert.
Didn't you know everyone on the internet, every anonymous name on the internet is an expert?
Oh, and that's the news. Okay, what's next? The next thing is Nikki's notions. Opinion is the medium between knowledge and ignorance. I liked it, but you have to think about it.
Yeah,
Plato said that. Oh, I didn't see what you said. What did you say, Grasshopper? Where did you say it? That was local, a stunt by the road workers, if I remember right. Oh, awesome. Thanks for the info.
There you go.
Well, it's coming back again, so just be aware. That was in the news from 4 days ago. Okay. I'm buffering. You're buffering, Mr. Lee? Next is, I think I'm on the wrong screen. I am.
Show me what you got.
Jim, you heard them said, show me what you got.
Show me what you got. I want to see what you got. Oh boy.
Oh boy. It is show me what you got time. And I got a couple of doozies for you guys this week. So here's the first one. What you see in the picture is a creature over 12 foot tall and charging out of the wetlands.
Is it behind the blurry patch in the middle?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
I think so. Yeah, because then the next picture was zoomed in.
Which
I
made
didn't
it so much
zoom
better.
it in. That was posted like that. I don't really have any words other than I don't think so.
I'm not seeing it.
I don't see it.
My,
and maybe somebody does see it.
My pareidolia prescription is at the shop. So I'm not seeing whatever that is.
I don't know. It could be. It may. I don't know. What do you think? No. Does it even look like a log? But it doesn't even look like a.
I don't even know what it is I'm
tree.
supposed to be looking at. Yeah.
The grass in the front is very in focus, so that's what's pulling the focus for sure.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. Was this somebody saw something and they just snapped a picture real quick, or was this like on a game camera, or was it?
According to the person, they were on a hike and they heard a bunch of noise and they looked over and something was charging them. A 12-foot Bigfoot was charging them. That's the whole. That's the whole story that they're sticking to. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it.
Not seeing it either. I think we should call the police out for that one. Yeah. We're telling a lie. Anyway, this is the next one. This one has been out for a few weeks now, and I forgot about it last week. But this photo has been in several different groups, and people have been posting it in reverse as well with different places. But the majority of them all say Olympic Bigfoot captured on camera along the Ho River. So look inside the red circle, people. Get mesmerized.
Oh, is that where it is?
Yeah, it's right there in the middle. It's right there. You're mesmerized now.
I could have used some red circles on that last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a few problems with this photograph.
Yeah. Like, talk about that big old.
Well, first thing I usually look at with stuff like this, especially an outside thing, is do all the angles of all the shadows and all that stuff match? Which,
Right.
you know, if you look on the right, you can see like the angle of the tree. There's two large trees on the right, and the way that the sun's beaming through there doesn't exactly match what we're seeing. Whatever this mystery glowing lightsaber lighted piece of shrubbery is that's in the foreground of the photo that just happens to be cutting across the body, so no details can be seen. Plus this weird glare that's only on half of the screen and also happens to bisect the face of this creature.
Yeah, right on the face.
That's a problem. Yeah, I have doubts. And it's also posing, doing the Patty pose.
It's doing a pose. Yeah. That you always see on what? All the Bigfoot statues everywhere. Everywhere. Okay. We've got them. I think it's the Bigfoot that you see in the middle there. Okay. That is a Bigfoot, aka Sasquatch, that was photographed by Bob Christopher, which was uploaded on November 30th of 2019. He admitted that into an art show or photo show. I don't know what you call them. And he actually won a certain award for that photo that you see in the back. But I don't know, kind of looks like it could be from the other angle, you know, that hair, that head is what kind of, to me, looks very similar to the photo. And
I can see the similarity, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if maybe the other photo would have been better.
I don't think it's exactly like maybe a different angle from the same shot, because there's some pretty big trees right there.
That one's kind of looking different, but it's all seems manipulated to me. So
yeah,
the whole thing, it's probably pieced and parted, all kinds of different things in there. But anyway, you make your own decision. You guys think. I saw that, but are they supposed to be by different people? Yeah, I saw different people. Well, two of them were the same, and one of them I didn't recognize the name. So I don't know if they were just posting, you know, to share, or because they didn't put anything in regards to a story. So it could have been that too. I have a photo standing with original crew. Who are you talking about? Oh, somebody's talking about Chaka and the Land of the Lost.
Hey, I appreciate a Land of the Lost reference. That was my favorite show as a kid.
Chorizo tacos. I'm really hungry right now. Pretty cool. Seen that. Okay, moving on because I'm not on there. So that is, I think that's all I've got on this one. I'm not sure. Let me see. Oh, one more. So don't look at what I wrote yet. Just look at the picture, folks. Just stare at the picture, okay? And if you're looking at that picture, what do you see? What do your eyes see?
I think I saw behind me in my woods behind.
Oh, God, it's behind you. Look out.
Not again.
So just looking at that picture, people were calling that a dogman, skinwalker, all kinds of things. But in reality, it's just a cold, foggy morning and a horse with a bulky blanket on out grazing. Okay, he's walking away from you. So I just thought that was a cool picture depicting pareidolia and what the eyes want to see. But yeah, it's a horse. A horse is a horse, of course.
I don't see how somebody would think that was a Bigfoot or a dog man or anything. to me, it looks like someone obviously wearing like maybe a big coat or something
Yeah,
like
maybe
that.
a
with
big
like long
coat with
sleeves.
one of those hoodies with the ears.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. My daughter has one of those, so I could definitely see that. But it does look like maybe somebody standing there with the coat. I could go for that.
Yeah.
But it's not at all a person.
It's a fog squatch. We hear from the chat. That's
It's a
great.
fog
I
squatch.
like it.
Who
I
said
like
that?
the
That's
fog
great.
squatch idea.
Kaiju, Mr. Fog Squatch. So I thought that was neat. And I give credit to Jay Erlenbach, who posted that somewhere on Facebook, but it wasn't my post. It's your post, and I'm sharing it. So there you go. And next, we've got Be on the Lookout. That's when I'm supposed to do this. Be on the lookout, folks. We got some stuff to be talking about. Again, my Mount St. Helens Sasquatch Shindig being hosted by Jay Birch, Bigfoot Barbecue, July 26th through the 30th of this year. Michael Gallagher's coming down from Canada. We've got some yeses from some very big peoples. Thomas is supposed to be there. Leon Thompson's going to try to make it. For sure, Bill Reed's going to make it. Jerry Matthews, the whole Buckwa crew, people, is going to be there. When are we going to get these people back together, all together? We've got at least 6, 7, 8. I think I have 9 confirmations so far and a bunch of possibles, okay, including possibly Alex Petkoff, possibly Tate, Hieronymus, and some others. And we put good juju on that so that they can make it. But of course, I'm going to be there. Brent will be there. And Curious Cryptid, Steve Anderson will be there. And I believe Grasshopper, are you going to be there? They don't want 100 people there, but it's Jay's fault because Jay wanted to make it public. So you can yell at Jay, not me.
I was going to ask if there was going to be a cap on the number of people that could go.
I wanted to do that, but we'll see what happens. It's an open, there's a lot of forest there, so it is what it is. People know it's a dry camping situation. There's no water, no toilets. You have to have gear. Okay. You have to have your own gear, your own food, and you have to bring in your own water. So that kind of makes people not, want to do that. And there is not very good lodging situation. So you need to take that into consideration as well. The one person there in the nearby town, I hear super expensive. So you could do it. If you get in touch with me, I can give you the location so you can try to find lodging if that's what you wanted to do. But it has to be done fairly soon, I would imagine, if you're going to do that. There's a lot of places on the mountain, to camp. And so we're going to deal with it as it comes. We may stop advertising fairly soon, though, as those numbers start getting more. And people will forget we're still 6 months out. So
yeah,
it'll die down. But yeah, so I think there's something I need to add now that I'm thinking about it. So let me know. Let me see. Nikki, can you try to get Sasquatch on cell phone? Sure. I'll talk to him. Tell him to give you a, hey, what's up? Grass is on.
Someone's going to ask what the Wi-Fi situation is out there.
Yeah. For sure. Zero Wi-Fi people. Actually, there is one spot. I think Jay said, I don't know. I'll have to talk to Jay. I think he said he did get cell service somewhere. I really want to.
Cool to see a live stream from that.
That would be like really, really fun. Nikki, did you look into that song? If you can play it. Oh no, I haven't yet. Sorry. a Sasquatch song. I haven't looked into if I can play it or not. I should have a Bigfoot on film by then. You do that, Matt. And cell reception will be sparse. Sparse. Okay. I think if I missed your question, put it in caps so I can find it. Police. So anyway, it's going to be a big deal, and it's going to be lots of fun. And there's going to be if people who say they're going are going to go, there's going to be a lot of videos done on this. So it's going to be really exciting. Nikki forgot to mention this will be a nudist colony.
Well,
you're not even going. You're making up the rules. You and Michael need to get together. Yeah, some crazy ideas too. Tristan, right? Clothing optional. Mr. Haywood, Mr. Fuller, howdy. Okay. And another thing to be on the lookout is I have now got Wanna Buy Me a Coffee. If you feel inclined that you would like to buy me a coffee, this donation goes directly to helping me run my channel. And if you like, you can support it by buying me a coffee. Now, the main reason that I have this now linked onto my description, and I'll be posting it in some other places, is because I am going to be doing commission work now. I have had a number of people ask if they could purchase one of my Bigfoot burns, my Bigfoot art. And This is the way I can do that, because there is a section that I'm setting up right now, because I am researching prices on properly, what size to charge for Bigfoot burns. And because I have no clue. And I have to time myself now. I never thought about that, but I need to start a project from the beginning to the end and see how long it takes me so that I know what I'm putting into it. So that is happening, and I'm building that now, but this is the first step. And this Wanna Buy Me a Coffee has that built into its system, and you would be able to commission my work directly on this Buy Me a Coffee. So that is new for me. So please don't feel obligated to buy me a coffee. It's a means to an end to help me get to those people who really want commissioned work. Right now, I'm going to be starting on Mr. Lee's work, and that's going to be my basis actually for my timing myself on how fast I can do a burn from beginning to end to help me, price my goods. I don't want to overprice. That's the last thing I want to do. So I'm going to be cheaper than places on the internet. Just so you know, I am going to be cheaper than that. Of course, I have to think about the shipping stuff too. So, and that's another big thing. Yep, Sandra has one already. Has one of my burns that she won on a contest. And I'll be doing Mr. Lee's here. Gosh, I got so much done today, so probably I can start tomorrow on that. And I believe Steve, Mr. Calls, is having his show at 7:00, and that's on Squatch DTV, following me. And again, if there's any last questions in the chat, you can bring those up now. Let me see. Yes, you do. And how about you, Enzo? What do you got coming up? You're muted, dear.
Oh, no wonder you couldn't hear me earlier when I was asking a question.
Nope. What were you asking?
I was asking if you had an example of one of the wood burns, so folks could see it if they're not familiar with it.
I don't know. I don't know what I did with it. I had one.
It's all right. That's okay. You don't go to any trouble.
Many of the people who have followed me have seen a lot of my work. So, but those will be, I'm going to have those all listed, and you'll be able to actually commission what you want on it. Just beware, letters are the hardest thing for me to do. So I will be charging more words, more money. Because those are actually really hard to do straight. Unless you want it like that, want to buy me a coffee writing where it just doesn't matter. But I'll figure that all out, and I'll have like a booklet of all the stuff I've done so far, and enough for you to get a hint. So, but yeah, I've had like 3 people ask to pay me to do work, and I keep saying no, but now I'm saying yes, and this is going to be the way we're going to do it.
Very nice. That's great.
Yeah. So that's something new. But that brings us to the conclusion of the show. I want to thank everybody out there for supporting me and the channel. I really appreciate it. And I hope that y'all come back for the next part of the series next week. Be sure to watch me and Enzo on the Morning Mojo
with JoJo on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
8 in the morning. And then my show, Hairyman Hijinks, in the morning with JoJo and Enzo too. I've been inviting him. It's been a blast talking to him in the mornings and getting going. So everybody, peace. Love you guys. Thanks, Enzo.